Dari, this is a sad report because it's a report of our last full day at Club Santa. So we're talking about the events of Monday. And we started off, of course, in the morning at the 8 o'clock with the traditional 10-minute uh, athletics exercise warm-up, which was done in the central square. So we did that. And then next thing on our agenda, which I did with Sue, was the a TRX class. Unusually, it was hosted by Tom from England. It turns out that he's able to be working at Club Santa since he has a second passport, which is an European passport. And therein lies a very sad story, since Club Santa doesn't is not able to recruit from British nationals anymore unless they have an EC passport. There you are. That's an example of Brexit in practice. So we had a nice TRX workout. We've both done TRX before, and Tom's instruction was a little bit dry and not quite as enthusiastic as the Danish instructors normally are. Anyway, we did enjoy it, and we were a bit knackered at the end of it. We followed that up by a repeat of the running loop, the trail running loop that we did the other day. But this time we thought, because at the end of that last trail run, which was quite okay for both myself and my partner, we thought, you know what would be really interesting is to try and do that on a mountain bike. Surely it would take less time, be a lot easier. And we thought we'd conscript Sue into this endeavour. So the three of us hired mountain bikes from the bicycle centre. I was using flat pedals, not my fancy road bike pedals. And we just set off. It soon turned out that I think Sue's not mountain bike very much. So we had a backup plan, which was to leave Sue in the town of Soo. That would be the town Soo. And then instruct her how to get back. So we sort of plodded along, mostly off-road, until we got to a bit of tarmac. And then the tarmac leads us to the town of Soo, Soo. And then she turned around and went back home to Club Santa. And we then continued. And that second part was much more challenging. And we found the most interesting thing that I found, having been on a mountain bike now, probably for the fourth time in my life, is that mountain bikes don't work in sand. So maybe our tyres were not fat enough, or maybe they never work in sand. I don't really know. But when you get to soft sand, you just basically squidge down and then that's it. So we were moving most of the time. But in soft sand, when it was purely soft sand, we just had to stop and walk. It was quite challenging, and I just think it was a pretty good workout for the 16K or so that we did, especially at the end, because we could see Club Santa in the distance, and there was no trail path that we could see to get to it, so we had a couple of wrong turns. And if you look in our GPS track, you'll see, anyway. So that was good. What happened after that? Like I say, Monday's been just another tremendously busy day. So in the afternoon, we had absolute abs class, and it was the same as the previous absolute abs class, but slightly different teacher, and obviously worked the abs. After that, we decided to do yoga flow. Now, my partner and I both did yoga flow. Sue was doing something else, and it was going well. Except I'm always amazed at how flexible other people are. So I was sitting around a group of mostly women who are just so flexible. When you have your legs, for example, in front of you, flat, opened wide, and you're trying to bend down. I mean, everyone else was bending right down, and I was just like, I wouldn't say I was looking at the teacher, but I was just looking ahead of me, and I was very, very inflexible compared with so many other people. So hats off to them. So we were sort of winding down. This is our last full day. We thought we'd splash out. The first splashing out of the day was a massage at the wellness centre. So after the yoga, we had a massage. All three of us had massages at the wellness centre. I went for the short massage, which was it's either 25 or 30 minutes long, but he was 5 minutes late and he finished 5 minutes early. So I only got about between 15 and 20 minutes worth of massage, and it was just okay. I mean, my partner does a better massage in 20 minutes than this guy did. So I was not I wouldn't say I was displeased, but I was hoping for just something magical, and it didn't happen. So we had the massage at the wellness centre. We all three of us had a massage. My partner had a 60-minute massage, and she said hers was much better. And she had her glutes done, and her thighs, because they were really sore. So that helped her a lot. So that was good. And for the last sort of night meal, we decided we'd go to the fancy restaurant called Largo. So in the or posher accommodation blocks next to that posh block is the Largo restaurant. So that's the latest new restaurant, and we had dinner there. We didn't have very much time for the dinner, so we started at 7. We need to finish at 8. I'll explain in a second. And yeah, that we had all three of us had a lovely dinner. And it's a beautiful restaurant. It was super empty. I mean, there must be 30 tables, and there was about four bookings. It wasn't quite have you booked when we went in, but it would have been amusing for him to say that. But yeah, so we had booked, and we did have a table inside, which was good, and we had a lovely meal. I think Sue had some local El Grifo wine, so we were a bit jealous there. So we finished it off. So this is Monday evening still with the show in the square. So once a week, the green team, which are the instructors at Clubber Centre, they put on a sort of a show in the central square, and we watched that show, and it was just brilliant. I've got some photos and clips, and what's nice is that over the course of a week, you might meet a certain instructor one or more times, and you don't develop a friendship with that instructor, but you develop a respect for that instructor. And there's one youngish a Danish guy who's fair hair, and he's very young, and all the classes that he's taken I've really liked, and he really gets you enthusiastic about the class, and I think that's important, and that's something that the TRX guy Tom didn't do. He had like a dry sense of humour, and unfortunately I think you just do need to be a bit over the top and really trying to get your audience going. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel as good. So I think all credit to this young man, and he was in the show, and I was every time he came on, I was clapping really loudly. So that's it for Monday. Tuesday's our last day. We've got to take Sue to the airport, and we haven't got a full day. Our flight's at 7. Sue's flight's at 2. So it takes about 40 minutes to get there by our hire car. So we need to make plans. All right, Darry. Speak to you tomorrow, Tuesday.